Can I give him the bonus one, Graham, or not?
You can do. How about we do? Yeah, go ahead. Give the bonus one.
I can vote. You hear that, guys? He feel I can deliver it. He can't complain about it. Now you can you can defend us together. Who runs the BrainBuster account, by the way?
We both do. I'd say Beaumont handles more of it. Like anything that's non-wrestling related, Turner or X-Men or whatever, that's more him. I'm more kind of the straight up wrestling side of things. But I'd say he does like 75% of the tweets.
This is Beaumont then. Okay. Right. Majora's Mask isn't as good as Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I completely. I mean, Breath of the Wild is a very, expansive game. Like, it's one game that I can really feel like I lose myself in. It's really brightly colored. And Majora's Mask is oddly really hard. Like, I don't know how the hell I beat it as a kid, but it is a biatch, man, to play.
time. Watching two people complain about a gaming Devil's Advocate was fantastic. Yeah. I saw it today because I was thinking, like, I need to find something that is particularly personal. And I saw you mentioned Majora's Mask, like, there's the answer right there.
I'm glad you explained it was gaming because I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, you definitely asked the right person, and it's funny. It was one of our buddies actually like commented on the tweet saying it, and he thought it was me. He's like, "Oh, that's Zelda." I'm like, "That wasn't me, brother. I don't know what Majora's Mask is."
Yeah, he's
actually it's average at best.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's an off kilter one. Our buddy actually, he's a really cool guy. He's doing a cross stitch of Link with one of the masks. That it's pretty rad.
Beaumont, we'll have to have you on Game Junkie sometime, dude.
Sure, let's bring it. Groovy.
Now we're trying to come up with this new format with having guests on. One thing that we thought we should definitely ask, something that's very important. This is the real stuff. The wrestling was really just to get to these questions. We want to know. First question: how do you cut your toast?
It depends. So I would say I typically don't cut like a singular piece of toast. But if you've got like I used to eat a ton of peanut butter sandwiches as a kid, and I would go straight down the middle.
Okay.
So if I'm having some toast with butter, for example, I'll put a chunk of butter in the center of the piece of toast, and then wad it up like it's a piece of paper, and make a ball. No, I'm just kidding. I kind of like, if I have to pick a. I like the diagonal one because I like having the pointed bits at the end to eat.
It's the right answer.
Yeah, I like being able to sort of strategically work in there that way.
All right, we had to ask Toastgate question. All right, second question. What's the best type of fry? So, for example, like French fry, waffle fries, potato wedges, cream cut, etc., etc.
How about Arby's curly fries?
Curly fries, yeah. Okay.
It's got to have the right seasoning, though. It's all about the seasoning, baby.
Absolutely.
We're talking to an expert right here. We didn't just get part of an answer. We got the complete answer. Seasoning is definitely a big part of it.
The chef is happy to hear those comments.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah. And I remember you all asked this, I think, on your Twitter, and the one that I still stand behind for the longest time, and I'll be even more specific with this, is crinkle cut fries from like a diner. From like a classic diner with some grease that's like a little too old, that needs to be changed. Like fries. And sometimes I like my fries a little soggy too. I know probably somewhat unpopular opinion. But
I lean more on the soggy side than super crispy.
Yeah. You guys should come to a proper fish and chip shop in England when you get a chance to come over after the pandemic, because you get some soggy chips from a fish and chip shop, no problem in England. No problem.
Yeah.
And I guess one thing to throw back at you guys, from being both from Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, we have this special type of chili. I don't know if you've all ever heard of the Cincinnati style chili.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you never have, look it up. And obviously what your conception of chili is, this is probably definitely not going to be it.
Have you had it before, Graham?
Yeah.
I have. Well, we haven't talked about it, but my in-laws are from Akron. So,
Okay.
And a local restaurant chain that unfortunately closed in my town, but still in Northern Virginia. Hard Times, they're known for their chilies, and one of their 4 chilies is Cincinnati. So, yeah, I call it chocolate chili. I know it's not. I know that's not the real name, but it has chocolate in it. So,
yeah,
I've certainly had it before. Yep.
Did you like it?
It's okay. It's not my favorite one that they do is Texas chili. I got to say that for me that one's hands down. But it was of the 4, it was joint second. I can't remember the third one. It's like Terralinga or something. It's one I hadn't heard of, but those two were kind of very similar. And the vegetarian chili was absolutely disgusting. I don't mind vegetarian food per se, but that was awful. I couldn't for that. Yeah.
I've never made Cincinnati chili, but I'd have a good stab at trying to make some.
All right, final question. And Matt and I are split on this one, so we're curious what you think. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I'm a no.
I'm a fairly solid yes, actually. I'm never going to be the person who orders a Hawaiian pizza. But if someone orders it, I will be fairly enthusiastic.
Pineapple is probably my favorite fruit, but does not belong on pizza.
Wow.
Matt, you can't be surprised. You must have known from the number of times we've talked about it that it's kind of a 50-50 split. That's why it's such a good question, because people are saying it's such a divisive thing as well. So you can't really be surprised that one said yes and one said no.
Okay. The only people that would say yes to it are either lunatics, crazy people. Yeah, lunatics, social deviants.
I eat pineapple, so I'm saying no to the first one and no to the second one. Keep going.
Lunatics, social deviants, and people who don't want to cause trouble. Mr. Bad Cop.
Which one of those is me?
All of the above.
I prefer social deviants.
Beaumont, you are 100% a lunatic, and I adore you.
Thank you.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys, and especially Graham, because when we were probably 10 followers or less, somehow you found us and retweeted us and kind of, got the momentum rolling for us and kind of got us engaged into this big wrestling podcast community. So thank you very much for all of that, because it kind of just helped kickstart us when we didn't really know how or what we were going to do to promote this thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I thought, was going to be the biggest hurdle out of this, because, doing podcasts is something that I've had a little bit of experience in. So I'm like, all right, I think I know how to work the computer program and stuff, but the promoting stuff and the engaging with the community has been just nuts in the best possible way. Like, this wrestling podcast community is just incredibly welcoming, and that was just a really nice thing to have happen to us, I think, and it's given us a lot of wind in ourselves, a lot of enthusiasm for sure.
Graham won't appreciate me saying these words too much. Well, hopefully he will appreciate me saying these words. He's very good at finding podcasts just starting out, first shows, and he will promote anyone who is amazing. So you guys are amazing.
Thank you. So are you.
Thank you. So are you.
We got the attention. I can't remember what it was. I didn't find the first episode. I remember that. It was either your second or third one. And I saw something and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll check that out. And the cream rises to the top, though. If you find those good podcasts and you listen to them, it's getting that word out, and it's just how quick it takes for the word to come out. Yeah. But no, I would say I have no problems promoting things that I personally listen to myself. If I like them, I know there's probably going to be people who listen to us who will probably like you as well.
Sure.
And you guys definitely, that first episode, you can tell sometimes I know people say when they listen back to their first episode, like they hate it. They hate the sound of the voice. It came out terrible. There's always something there, though. There's always something, that little spark or something that gets people's attention. And people are prepared to work with that. I still think the biggest one for me, Matt, is if you hear laughter on a podcast, that's got to be a great start. Because people are having fun with it. And if people are having fun, you're probably going to have fun listening to it as well. And that's something that's going to make you want to tune in again. Yeah, I can't believe you just said, what is it, episode 7? Is that all it's going to be when it comes out?
We've only done 6, yeah. And like we said earlier, when we've been editing these, and we kind of feel like our episode 1, Beaumont thinks it's worse than I do. But episode 2 is where we felt we really came into our own, and that's when we started adding all the sound effects and again having more fun. And like Bo said earlier, we'll literally be sitting in this room that I'm in now, small room, and we're just cracking up and even crying. We're laughing so hard at just some of the sound effects, or just listening back to him saying Dan Callis or calling him Matt Harvey, and just we've been having so much fun and can't wait to see where we go from here. And one other little plug real quick. We did our first kind of live stream during Dynamite on December 23rd. We haven't decided exactly how we're going to keep moving forward with those, but we are going to be doing more of those. I don't know about every week, but that was so much fun, and thank you, Graham, for joining as well. Matt, I don't know if you were there. If you were, thank you. But
time differences
oh, that's true. Yeah. But
if
anyway,
I know about in advance, I can maybe switch some things around for it. I like to support my friends and my peers where I can.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, and more to come from us in 2021. We're probably going to be doing some more video stuff as well, which we haven't really done at all. So yeah, we're excited to be officially with Visionaries Global Media as well.
For sure.
I'm going to do one final plug for you guys, since you didn't mention it. I believe also, because I was reading Twitter as well, you're going to be the next guests on View from the Top Rope as well.
Yes, we are, yeah.
That is true. Yeah, I think that interview's Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it'll be Wednesday night, and then it comes out on Thursday. So yeah, certainly look out for that one. Best thing to do, just subscribe to Visionaries Global Media, and then you'll get all those podcasts in. You can delete the Dungeons and Dragons one, but you can listen to the rest. And
Can I remind you that Chad from Youth from the Top Rope, who runs the network, is one of the main parts of that show, Graham. Keep him on side if I were you.
one of the big things when I mentioned to Diesel about BrainBuster Boys was I said they don't just want to do wrestling though. Like the fact that you want to review the movie that comes on after I thought that was just priceless. I was like, that's ingenious. The fact that you want to do other things as well, I think that makes you an even more welcome addition to the network. No, I jest, Matt. That's why we changed our name from wrestling to Global Media. And yeah, that's certainly good. All right, Matt, you better wrap this up because we're running way longer than we normally do. All right, once again, thanks to the BrainBuster Boys. That was so much fun. That was an absolute blast. I'm never 1 second doubted it wouldn't be. But yeah, thank you for being our first guests. And next week, we're looking forward to at TW Takes as well. So that should also be fun to do as well.
It should be very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. Our first guest of 2021, Graham, of course. We have had guests last year, of course.
Of course, of 2021, correct. But when we did that, it wasn't quite. Well, I guess Melissa was the one where we were kind of experimenting with the format at that point. But yes. All right, what do you want to talk about? Anything podcast related? I'm trying to think what MGB actually talked about this week, and I'm struggling to remember.
MGB this week, Graham, is what I want to talk to you about. So, you sure you can't remember?
It's the Lucha. It's the Galiz Navidad, of course, because it was our Christmas episode.
Galiz Navidad, yes. Oh. Right. Okay. First of all, I listened to this at times too today, just to see how you do with it, because you always listen at times 3, times 4, times 10, whatever it is nowadays. I love that Jackson called you out for missing a match.
Jackson was part of this one. That was kind of one of the cool things. It was over the winter break, and he wanted to watch it, and I was like, "That's fine." And yeah, yep.
Jackson's adorable. In fact, most of my mother Jackson related, to be fair. I love that Jackson's star rating is even more complicated than Meltzer's, but his rating system is better than Meltzer's.
Yeah, you could at least tell which matches he preferred. But he does tend to get a little carried away. He'll raise the rating a little bit, and then he'll like the next match even more, and he has to get even more out of control. But that's fine.
That does sound exactly like Dave Meltzer, Graham, to be fair.
He did actually say it wasn't out of 10, though, or it wasn't out of 5, though. He just said it's out of however many I want it to be. So when you hear 5, to begin with, that doesn't mean anything until you know what his other match ratings are. So it does actually make a certain amount of sense, but it's not helpful.
Again, I say, sounds exactly like Dave Meltzer. Right, okay. Jackson didn't touch the elf. Are you sure, Graham? Was he a good boy for Christmas?
His elf was it wasn't a water bottle that you buy from the store. It was a water carrier. So he was inside that. So he was carrying the bottle, but he wasn't carrying the elf. So yes, he wasn't touching the elf.
Good boy, good boy. I like the fact that you had the knowledge to your fingertips about Ray meaning king. I like the fact that you had at your fingertips. Ali used to do 054, but doesn't anymore, Graham.
Oh, okay.
In fact, since he left 205 Live, he hasn't done it. He went to do a standard 450.
Ah, okay.
But since he's gone heel, he now uses a submission hold instead. We need to play Family Feud at some point.
Okay.
You need to find a way of us playing that at some point. I will go head to head against our guests or something. I want to play Family Feud desperately. Although I did like the fact that you almost accidentally handicapped Jackson.
I did. I got it totally the wrong way around.
And Jackson, and even if you had done, Mason would still have lost. Right. And on times too, Mason sounds so much older as well.
He's going to be a teenager in a few weeks' time. He's getting
terrifying.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, but MGB's about to be on its 4th season pretty soon, which is also totally bonkers.
Proud, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm very proud of all of you boys as well. You've done a phenomenal job. What do I have to talk about this week apart from MGB?
I'm thinking then, let me tell you how I knew that Ray was king. And it wasn't actually from wrestling at all. It was from Trans World Sport many, many years ago. And when they were in Spain, they used to talk about the Copa del Rey. And they mentioned that's where I actually picked up that Ray actually means king. So it's the Cup of Kings. So I actually picked it up from soccer or football, if you prefer, for English listeners. Yeah, we actually, while you're thinking, we did actually put out a tweet. MGB actually had a lot of interviews this week. So we made sure that we thanked everyone who appeared. And it was kind of cool looking back over that list to see who we had talked to. And yeah, there were some good interviews, like you said. And I know you gave your Interview of the Year award to the Grimy Scots. And it was good to, I reached out to those guys as well and just said hi to them as well. And just thanked them personally for appearing on the show and mentioned that it had some critical acclaim, as it were.
Awesome. Now let's think of what else. I've got to admit, I've re-listened back again to the Pipe Bombshell podcast because I adored that one we did. Like, it was just so the banter back and forth, and I don't think Troy and Jiggy knew just how much fun it can be having two people at the same time. Chaos, but fun.
While you're talking about them, they did have a wrestling gal on this week, which is it's Ella J. And I did listen to that one. And Ella took 21 minutes to get through the Divas talk, whereas we took over an hour, I think it was, Matt. So I think it just put it into context for us. And the reason I'm also mentioning this is I want to give them a plug right now. They do have a Patreon account now as well. So I did join that, only at the lowest tier, but I am back. I wanted to make sure that I was supporting those guys, and I did actually support our wrestling gal as well. Same thing. Only on the lowest tier, but I want to try and support some of those podcasts a little bit more whenever I can. So go check them out on Patreon for further details.
Absolutely, and Jiggy started doing tarot reading as well, guys. So if you're into tarot, go check him out. He's all about that. Mm-hmm. I want to also take the opportunity to thank everybody over the last month for the support over the Christmas crackers. Obviously, they'd all dropped by the time that the last episode dropped, Graham. But seriously, I need to thank every single one of you out there who participated and who listened, or if you just shared it and didn't bother listening, then I thank you in general. Christmas crackers is one of the toughest times of the year for me because I have to decide which moments go in. And despite the fact 2020 was crap, but there was so much amazing stuff we got out of it. We got so much more networking done, Graham, didn't we? We got so much more stuff that we didn't think could happen done. We met. I got a chance to like you got to meet Bishop, for example, on To Do You Take, which was great. I was privileged enough to dabble with some of the media in the gaming world. It was fantastic, and so much so that now we've actually set up Game Junkie's own streaming YouTube page. So there will be content on there for gaming, so I can do it on there rather than on here, Graham. So although if gaming is brought up by anybody of my guests, then just throw me out there to talk to them about it. It's easier.
I did appear on 2 other podcasts with CJ and Steve, and they're going to be guests during. I'm not sure the exact dates. I believe one's in February and one's in March, so we'll definitely get to see those again. And you'll be pleased to know, I think I've managed to include some, not for this week's episode of MGB, but for the following week's episode of MGB. It's Synergy Pro Wrestling Tonight as we're talking right now, Matt. And I managed to find a couple of gaming references that I threw in not just for your benefit. I know we have a crossover audience as well, so you'll be able to take a listen to those comments too.
I'll see what I'll give it a good listen, Graham, for certain. And when we talk about Bubble Bobbles, you can come talk to us on Game Junkies as well. We'll see you next week, guys. Take care, stay safe, and wash your dang hands.
Boom.